Hi, this is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. Welcome to my Star Atlas Week in Review podcast. This is podcast number 98. Any articles or videos mentioned can be found on my website at intergalacticherald.com. Look for news recap number 146. So it was a very light week due to the holidays and the fact that the Star Atlas team was on break. So just a couple things of content. Some community members got together and did a kind of year in review. And then Beyond the Horizon did release a few new videos of the new showroom. So that's pretty much it. But I will kind of do my State of Star Atlas for the last week and my journey. But before I get to that, just a couple of quick things on things I'm working on in Star Atlas. First is I actually have a Star Atlas PIP, which is a proposal for a new community project. It's for actually an in-person community meetup platform. So I really appreciate any feedback. If you go to the Star Atlas Discord, look for the DAO section and then PIP ideas, you'll find it there. My name's there, but it's also called an in-person community meetup platform. Appreciate any feedback, any ideas. If you like it, please do give a thumbs up. You need 25 thumbs up to move to the next phase. So I really appreciate that. And then you have a merch store, Star Atlas merch. It's at intergalacticgear.com. It is open for business, only selling mugs, and yeah, I didn't get anything done the last 2 weeks, so we'll see about tomorrow. But yeah, it was definitely not the winter break of catching up, caught up on a lot of other things. But anyways, and then lastly, I am trying to start a kind of Star Atlas community for people who are not member of guilds, want a little more in-depth than what the Star Atlas Discord, in fact, just Discord in general, since it's more of chat. So these are more about threaded discussions. You can sign up for email alerts, so you can follow threads that you're interested in and things like that. You can go to Intergalactic Coalition and sign up there. So again, like I said, on the content, there wasn't a lot, but a few community members. Let me see. I think it was Funcracker, Witicus from Rome, Funcracker from Mafia, and Carlos from Deep. Not sure. Anyways, Santi, sorry, the community director, though I think he has a new title, was there, and then Metaverse Explorer was kind of moderating it. So anyway, a great listen. I think it was over 2 hours. So they touched on a lot that went over kind of the year past and different things like that. So definitely, if you're interested, check that out. You can find the link again on my news recap on my website, number 146. A couple things that popped out that I kind of made notes of. One, and again, I think these were actually from Santi comments that the team, so on the Sage Starbase, the LP redemption, the loyalty points, didn't work out. And again, I think the team's been becoming more vocal that, that just didn't work. And now with the infrastructure contracts and the local markets, that's sort of the new way. But the loyalty points still exist. So definitely they've decided that, there's multiple things going on there, and that's good. But one of the things that was actually fascinating to hear was that this was the first real economy that the players actually cared about. And by that I mean, what I interpret is that because the LP redemption didn't work, or it worked, but people took advantage of the rules, again, they weren't really cheating because there were rules, that a lot of people kind of like, hey, this isn't how it's supposed to be. And that is kind of how real life works. People get upset. They have opinions. And it wasn't, in that sense, just a game, because there was an economy going on. So anyways, I thought that was an interesting observation, that the passion of people of how frustrated they were with the LP redemptions actually proved that in some senses people are actually caring. So I thought that was great. And then the other thing that was interesting was and again, most of this was brought up at the town hall, but again, it was just more maybe condensed, that the future things coming. The rental program was talked about a little bit. And again, that was one thing the town hall showed a lot with. Fleet Command, which again, we saw in the demo. And then a lot more talk, though it did come up, I think, a little bit in the town hall, about the next version of StarPath, the referral program, and how that could kind of lead more toward its intended purpose as far as instead of a discount program. So anyways, I found that, again, kind of concise, tying it together. Not that the town hall was bad, but again, they were trying to hit a lot of different points. So, and then the other things that did occur this past week, Beyond the Horizon has been, at least was pumping out, maybe took a little break with the holidays and things like that. I think he got all the way up to 4 videos on, what is he calling it? Talking Town Hall, but really focusing on the updated showroom. And so the last 2 he put out was actually exploring I think it's the Oni Central Space Station, one of the special districts, but he was flying around, walking around. And as I posted on his video, it is big. It is really, really impressive, the volume of stuff. And again, we kind of saw in one of his earlier videos again about going between the planets, and that's great. And I think some of those may have been procedurally generated. I can't remember, but nevertheless. But this was actual planned construction. And as was reminded, Star Atlas hired a couple level designers, and I think this is what they've been working on for, if not the whole year, but a large part of it. And you can really see the details. And as much as moving between the planets is definitely like, hey, that's what I envision. When you get to a planet, you want to be able to do something. You don't want just kind of a barren wasteland. So seeing these kind of environments, and again, the central space stations obviously are going to be much more hubs than a planet out in the galaxy, but it was cool to see. And he did also do a video on the Fleet Command, and unfortunately, I think it was Metaverse Explorer did his, but his crashed his computer. But Beyond the Horizon was able to get it working. And so again, it was short, but it was still cool. And again, my winter break didn't go as planned, so I still haven't fired up the thing. But I got my new computer built, so at least I have the machine. Anyways, you're not coming to hear about my sob stories. But anyway, so that was great. He got a couple more videos, and I'll be curious to see if he has more coming in the new year once maybe he's back to his normal schedule. So anyway, so that's, again, a very light week, but still some content. And given that kind of end of the year and the first of the year, sort of my state of Star Atlas this last week, one thing I did, and again, if you get my newsletter or listen to my podcast, you probably already heard about it, but I did do a year in review with Beyond the Horizon. So we talked almost for 2 hours. And so that was great. Fun to do. Hope everybody enjoyed it, though very much longer than my normal ones. But it was interesting as we were talking, and we both made the comment that, last summer, things did seem very bleak for Star Atlas, but then as the year went on, at the end of the year, everything kind of clicked and much more going on. So ended the year on a strong note. So that was great. But as a few days after recording that now, I guess we'll see if the momentum continues, because it definitely ended on a very, very high note in December with the Sage changes, the local markets, the infrastructure, contracts, seeing the showroom, but, take a break, rejuvenate, and let's see what they come up with in the first quarter. So, and then kind of moving on to that, our year in review was not about looking ahead, but I figured, hey, there wasn't a lot to talk about this week, so I'll give some thoughts on the year ahead. I am still and I think it was my best of 2024, was local markets. I think it adds a level of depth to Sage that is obviously game-changing, but really in the sense that opens it up to a lot more. And this, to me, really feels like now the economy exists, because it is truly player. There's no, you could do that at the Galactic Marketplace, but since you keep the resources within the game, and there's incentives to keep them within the game for selling and buying to avoid transport and other things, it will be interesting to see how that goes. If there was a downside, are there enough people? Are there going to be liquidity in all those markets? But again, it was the holidays. You can't really judge anything other than, like I said in previous podcasts, it was an awesome rollout, well telegraphed, released, bug fixes, everything like that. Thoughts ahead on the showroom. It looks great. The progress has been going there. Beyond the Horizon, I guess another area, if he hasn't already done it. Racing would be cool. I don't think we saw that. Yeah, he did do, I think, a little of the combat thing, but I'm not sure. Anyways, but there's still nothing in the current version that you can play daily. This exploration, looking at it as a tech demo, that's all great. But I guess my hope for the new year is definitely some sort of daily gameplay. Now, I think with the idea that there's the capability of a multiplayer, I don't think it was the Metagravity one, but it's the normal multiplayer, that Epic System Studio, whatever, I don't know how you say it, but built into the Unreal Engine, they have their own multiplayer. I think I saw some tweets that people were starting to maybe think about doing tournaments and stuff like that, because that exists now. So again, that's great, so would be too disappointed if there wasn't single player where I could do something, but at least the way that people could engage on a regular basis would be my hope for the new year. Fleet Command does look very interesting, but does now start feeling really far off. Not that it wasn't cool seeing the blockchain, but putting everything from Sage to bring that in there. Now you just added local markets, so they have to show up there. I don't know. I've always been kind of thinking the web browser has so much more benefits. But again, I totally understand if the team's reducing the number of platforms they're supporting. It makes perfect sense. And again, 3D-wise, Fleet Command, even in this initial sneak peek, obviously visually looks totally different than Sage. And again, many people are playing Sage through an automation tool, so you're not really even playing it. So if you had to go into Fleet Command and do one thing and then you go back to your automation tools, again, it all makes sense. But again, it does feel like still a long way off as far as being the primary place. As I mentioned on the year in review I did with Beyond the Horizon, one of my biggest disappointments was no crew app. It's not that it'll never happen, but it sure kind of still feels like a total missed opportunity to give something for the crew. But again, we'll see. And again, can't really fault if, again, they're focusing on, basically one platform, i.e. the UE5 version. So one other thing just in general, I was trying to remember if it's 2 or 3 years. I'm going to go on 2 for me. Yeah, probably losing track of time. 2 or 3 years. One thing that has struck me is, again, things are definitely seems like they're taking a lot longer than I thought it would be years ago. Now, caveat being is they had a lot more employees, and now they've feels like a much more stable team. But given what we're seeing year over year, especially with the showroom, yeah, it feels like, we're still not even to, I can't remember the naming on the roadmap, season 0, and there's supposed to be 8 seasons or something. Now, I know once they get the foundations and the base work, things will come faster. But I guess I've said this on previous podcasts, things will get faster if they have more employees, but you bring on more employees, you have to have more overhead, you have to have more capital. So it's a give and take. So, blending lean, making sure you're staying within your revenue, it all makes sense. But yeah, things are still quite a way out there. So we'll see. But I think I may have mentioned, I'll mention now, if doing this same podcast a year from now and the progress is pretty similar to last year over year, yeah, that will be disappointing. But again, there's still a whole year ahead. So, and I guess in the end, my hope for 2025 is just more direct gameplay options. Sage is great, but it becomes more about automations. But it exists. It's gameplay, something I can do every day. Cool. But I think, to me, the hope would be it's much more focused on the gameplay and not on the related things. And I know that's kind of a weird thing because Star Atlas is about the whole metaverse, the whole ecosystem, all of these different things. But how far can the DAC, the Distributed Autonomous Corporation platform, go? We got it. Great for some blockchain things. But again, what can you do in there that couldn't be more focused on gameplay? Same with the DAO, kind of. It's great it exists. It's glad the council was nominated, but they're probably coming up on half their term already, and then they got to be elected again. So, yeah, I don't know. It's great that it exists, but it's still not the game. So, and it'd be good if you can develop them all simultaneously, but it sure feels like that the lack of a daily gameplay, and again, this may be the pivot, this may be the change that are coming, but a little more focus, I think, just on the gameplay, and maybe let the other side things kind of maybe just be there. But again, I'm just speculating what would make me happy in the year ahead. So that's pretty much it on kind of my thoughts. And again, because there's not much to think, I'm just brainstorming. It doesn't really matter what I think. The team's going to do what they do, and I'm perfectly fine with that. They're the developers. They have the idea. They know their resources. They know their talent. They know what they're trying to accomplish. So, and I guess to end up in something I've been saying, what would be nice in the year ahead is much more updates. Again, not this once every 6 month town hall, but a monthly update similar to what the econ team's doing. I think could go a long way to, call it gameplay, call it marketing, call it ecosystem, whatever area, DAO itself. If we had a monthly update from the council, that'd be great. So I think just that kind of, and again, I guess go off on a tangent real quick. I know a lot. I know more because of the Foundation Room, but the Foundation Room is not what people can talk about. So it's as if the information doesn't exist. It's great for the people that are in there, but I'd rather see more public information given out on a regular basis to show where things are, keep the team going. And again, this may be the lack of having a marketing plan and moving forward. So again, we'll see how it all goes. So anyways, final topic, just my journey. So I did finally finish mining my carbon and my journey to craft a Mamba X. And because I was so busy, I simply started moving it back to the CSS. I still haven't taken that idea I had, which is, hey, let me see what option of selling at the local market. So it was more of, I don't have time to research, so I'll start moving it. So, but my Sol fees have been steady, meaning it plays for a while, and I haven't, goes down a little bit, but not the great jump. So sticking with one fleet, doing one task definitely seems like the strategy. It's been working for me. Of course, it could go faster if I had more cargo, which I could, but again, I'm earning some Atlas by keeping things in faction fleet. So that style is working great for me. Still gain my Atlas every day, but yeah, it would take way more effort to figure out how to do the infrastructure contracts. So I'm just, again, I like what I'm doing and I have time, so it's fine. So anyways, so yeah, that's pretty much it as far as that. So again, definitely open to guests. Had Beyond the Horizon on, which is great. So hopefully can get on a few more guests coming on in the new year. Did have a few people reach out last year, but I just got wrapped up in too many things on my business side and then family stuff. And before you knew it, the holidays showed up and well, it's January. So we'll see. But again, just mentioning my two projects, my merch store, Star Atlas merch store, you can buy a mug. Technically, I have a poster. Actually, I guess I can announce that. I thought I would get a lot further on them. So 2 weeks ago, just to make sure it worked, I started a poster. So there, it's not easy to find because I didn't get everything done. I was going to rebuild or redo the website with links, but if you dig really hard, you can probably find it. So it is officially purchasable, but definitely not ready for promotion yet. So I wanted to get the whole series of different styles. But anyway, but mugs are there. Those are easy to link to. So go to intergalacticgear.com and take a look at that. And then again, if you're interested in joining a community of Star Atlas gamers who are not members of guilds that are more focused on kind of threaded discussions and hanging out outside of Discord, please go to intergalacticcoalition.com, take a look, fill out the interest survey there. Other than that, Happy New Year to everyone. 2025, hard to imagine we're in another year, but we are. And thanks for listening and have a great week ahead. This is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald.